let's start with this. Looks like a very messy story. Hegseth is calling Goldberg a liar. I want to believe Hegseth. I really do. And then Trump is saying, I know nothing about this. I do believe the president. He knows nothing about it. I'm not sure I believe Pete Hegseth. How does a journalist end up on something as serious as that?
Well, look, this is it's not a good situation. There's no question about that. The issue is how the number got on that group Signal chat. And, I'm not sure. Apparently there are cards that are used, and they have both business numbers and cell phone numbers. And this guy from the Atlantic got on that Signal chat. I think what's more disturbing is that nobody noticed whose number that was, or like, gee, guys, who is this over here?
Yeah.
But
But you do realize, Jeanine, I saw the list of people. There were like 20 people on there. I can see why somebody wouldn't notice.
Yeah. I mean, it's not something that, I think that people ought to, have a breakdown over. It was a mistake, and it certainly is not something that was intentional or as a result of incompetence. You look at telephone numbers, you assume because every person had a second designee. Every principal had a designee who was there as well on a telephone number. You don't know what the name is attached to the number. So, I mean, they got to find out who put the card in that had that second number on it that was this guy from the Atlantic.
Yeah.
So,
do you think that, look, Hegseth is not going to resign, nor should he? That's stupid. Same thing with Walls. Only these ridiculous liberal networks are asking for that. But do you think that Trump calls both of those guys today and gives them a pretty good tongue lashing?
Well, I think that, knowing these guys and knowing how much Trump appreciates them, I think he's going to tell them, you can't do stuff like this and make us look bad. We're working too hard, and we are being very effective, and we're being transparent, but I didn't ask you to be that transparent. I mean, other than that, things will go well in the country. That's the end of it.
You got to use that line. You got to use that line on Fox later. That is hilarious. Mm-hmm. Listen, I'm always hesitant to say anything bad about Trump's people. But I'm not. But I'm not anymore. I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. I know everybody else does that. That's great. I love President Trump. I love him. I adore him. But his people make mistakes. I got to call them out. And I got to tell you, I'm about at my wit's end with Witkoff. He's horrible. You cannot say Hamas can stay there if they lay down their weapons. First of all, don't even do a podcast with Tucker Carlson. That's a bad idea. That's a bad idea in the first place. But some of the things that Witkoff said about Russia and Israel were so silly and irresponsible. Why is Trump allowing this guy to do any media? I'm sorry.
Well, look, I don't know the specifics of it. I know that he has been pretty generally happy with Witkoff, given what's happened up to this point. I'm not in the weeds with them on this stuff. And the truth is, I don't believe that Hamas has any right to be there because Hamas is a terrorist organization, and they are putting their people in danger. And the more I see it, the more you really have to be heartbroken for the Palestinian people because of what Hamas is doing to them. Hamas, they are evil, they are terrorists, and they are people who, don't deserve to breathe the same air that you and I breathe. I'm sorry. They're bad people.
100%. And that's not what... Right, yeah, but that's not what Witkoff said. Witkoff said, they're not as bad, they're not as, radical. So I'll move up Witkoff, but David Friedman should have that job, and Witkoff should go sell real estate in Qatar or Dubai. Let me get to the judges, because I'm sorry, I got to be honest. And I would tell President Trump right to his face at the risk of him never talking to me again. I don't care, because I know what's going on there. I don't have to be in Dubai or Qatar or Gaza. I know what's going on, and Steve's got to do a better job of delivering the message. Let me get to the judges. We were an amazing judge, one of our best judges ever. They have become a real thorn in President Trump's side, not because they're on the right side of the issue, they're on the completely wrong side. What are we going to do about this?
Well, the Supreme Court sooner or later has got to rule on this. When a judge who is a local federal district court judge does a temporary injunction that impacts the entire nation. I mean, we really have to look at, the propriety of that, the legality of it, the reasonableness of it, especially in situations where it doesn't appear that they're necessarily going to win. So the Supreme Court has to, because this is what goes on. It's called forum shopping. Let's go to this judge. We know he's aligned with us ideologically. He'll give up the temporary restraining order. We'll stop Donald Trump. We'll stop the administration. We'll tell him to bring the planes back. I mean, who the hell do you think you are, involving yourself in national security issues, in world diplomacy, and you're a local judge in somewhere, and you think that you belong in this argument? You don't even belong in the discussion. Excuse me. So the Supreme Court better get in there and tell these bozos, to get a grip on who they are. And this one who says, the Nazis were treated better. Are you kidding me?
Oh, please.
Listen, if you've got Tren de Aragua tattoos all over your body, the presumption is you're TDA.
That's right.
And if you were let in here illegally and you've got those tattoos, you got no freaking rights. I'm sorry. Okay? Now, there's no question. I'm not stupid. You come into this country and you do get constitutional rights. But if you come into this country illegally and you come into this country with the intent to commit crimes that we are so sick and tired of, that are so outrageous, then at some point we've got to react to it. And with these liberal bleeding hearts, tell them to take these freaking people home themselves, and they can live with them and talk about how wonderful they are.
Final 60 seconds, two quick more points. Let's be honest, Jeanine. There's a part of you that's just dying to go see live AOC and Bernie on the Oligarchy Tour. A little part of you? A little bit?
No, not an iota, nothing. All I know is they're going out there. They don't know what they stand for. They don't know who the leader is. They don't even agree with each other. He says the Biden administration messed up the border. She believes the border should be open. I mean, get yourself a cohesive message if you're going to go out there and you're going to, like, bring the party together. The two of you aren't even together.
I know.
And by the way, the idea of her being president, I mean.
Who's saying that? I'll tell you the guy who could be president. This is our final piece of our conversation. You're funny, you're bringing it again. This mayor race in New York, there's a lot of national feel to it, only because Eric Adams has kind of become, Trump and Holman's boy. And then you've got Governor Cuomo, who, of course, had national spotlight, his father, the whole COVID thing. And there are people, including my last guest, Liz, and I think she's right, that said, if Cuomo wins and doesn't have a disastrous 4 years like de Blasio and Adams as mayor, don't be surprised if he becomes the front runner for the Democrats in 2028. What about that?
Well, he better move pretty quickly. I mean, the election, is it this year in November?
Yes, the primary's in June.
So that means he comes in and, like, in a year, he's ready to run for president? Come on. Really? It gives him a year to be the mayor. Now he's ready to run for president.
Well, outside of Stephen A. Smith, who does sports for ESPN, and maybe Josh Pirro, who's a Jew, I mean, it sounds crazy, but who else they got?
Touche. Well, baby Kamala, I pray for Kamala every night. I want her back. You know what? I mean, the woman can raise money. She's full of joy and love. Yeah. I miss her. I want her back. I can't wait for those word salads. She takes a few slugs before she comes out. And it's almost a comedy show. Give me a freaking break. This woman, vice president. How many women could have been in that position and they would have been mentors for young girls? Yeah. This woman was so freaking out of it every day. I love her yellow fuck. Where the F are you from? You know what? I got to hang up. I'm getting bad.
By the way, how many women? The one I'm talking to right now. I love you. You were brilliant.
I love you, too. Talk to you later, alligator.
Bye. She's great every week.